Violent street brawls turned to tragedy in the US state of Virginia on Saturday. One person was killed and dozens more injured. It all happened at a far-right rally over the removal of Confederate heritage from the small city of Charlottesville, where a car rammed into a group of counter-protesters. The driver has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. I must warn you, you may well find the upcoming video footage disturbing.
Got tore up. There was a girl on the ground that got tore up. She tried to get up. It was an intentional terrorist attack.
Well, we are right now here at the scene of the attack. Just behind me is where it occurred. I'd say that the atmosphere here right now is somber but also hopeful. Everyone that we've talked to has talked about the community here in Charlottesville, that it's very much so more like a family and that they will pull together, and they've all been condemning the hate that happened yesterday. Most people do feel that those that were committing the violence yesterday were more out-of-towners than people from here. They say that this is a very peaceful town. I have with me the headline of a local newspaper here, and there's a very intense picture. You can see people were thrown up in the air during the attack as the car plowed down the street. People were coming, counter-protesters were coming up this alleyway when a car came down through the alleyway, plowing through the crowd, ripping through the crowd of protesters. As you mentioned, one woman did lose her life in the attack, a 32-year-old Heather Hayer. Of course, the driver of the car fled the scene, but he has been arrested and identified as 20-year-old James Fields of Ohio. He is now being charged with second-degree murder for the death of Heather. There were also 19 more people injured in that attack. At this point, there are still 5 people in critical condition. This attack did occur while the city was still under a state of emergency. There was a heavy police presence here with the Virginia National Guard also here in the town. Of course, it's been condemned nationwide, including from the president. He did say that all parties must be held responsible, a comment that many people have attacked, saying that he should have been more specific. It's very clear who was responsible for the violence in the city.
Well, the main reason for Saturday's Unite the Right march was the authorities' plans to remove a Confederate statue and to rename 2 local parks. At least 15 people were injured in the violence that ensued. Scores were arrested. Pepper spray, batons, makeshift weapons were all used in brawls between the far-right demonstrators and the anti-fa protesters. In a separate incident, a police helicopter, which had been monitoring the rally, crashed outside the town. In that incident, 2 officers were killed. The US president has voiced his concern over the standoff in Virginia.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama. This has been going on for a long, long time.
If the KKK team were going down there to start a fight, shame on them. If that was done in the guise of a charity, that charity should be revoked and severely disciplined. Same for the Antifa. If there are people behind Antifa who are funding it through charities, which I suspect they may be, and in provoking violence around the country, even in the minutes that have passed between the time I was asked to come on this show, I walked about a mile through places in New York where there are already protests. They do not look very spontaneous to me. They have printed flags, printed placards. You know, I think people on both sides are spoiling for a fight here, and we ought to think very carefully about what actually happened, find out who may be guilty of what offenses, investigate them and punish them accordingly before we leap to a conclusion as to what may have happened.
Well, amidst the violence in Virginia, many continue to blame it on deep divisions within American society and increasingly polarised politics.
He will not divide us. It's about unity. United we stand, divided we fall.
What about the rest of the country that's not offended by Trump?
Do I respect the choice of the people who got him elected?
And I see the Democrats as the biggest dividers in the world.
No, I don't.
This is our country! Our country!
One of the reasons I won the election is we have a very, very divided nation.